Should be.
Go. All right, MMA Maniacs, it's time once again for your weekly MMA podcast called Split Decision, brought to you from the SinCal studios. Bueller, Dodge, and Dennis ready to break you off some MMA news. Huh?
Well, I don't see Dennis.
Oh, I don't see Dennis either. He's a ghost. he's moved on to he's a force ghost at this point. It's an apparition.
What's happening?
And of course, we got news. We got fights this weekend. We got fights from last weekend. We got a lot to go over, man. So buckle in, strap in, Buttercup, because it's time to get rocking and rolling. Jumping in first with Jimmy Smith, who was just let go from Bellator, right?
He departed from Bellator. He wasn't let go. It was mutual.
Mutual, so they could then sign somebody else, and now he's over with the UFC.
Yeah, so he signed to the UFC. Like, it was like pretty quick that they announced this news that he signed to the UFC. Remember, we were talking about that, and we were saying maybe he'll replace Joe. He says, I'm not replacing Joe. I'm going to be doing color commentary alongside him.
I'm just going to be there when he leaves.
Be his homie to the
when
side.
he leaves in August and never comes back, I will be here. That's how it works.
And almost as if to like counter that big news, Bellator immediately announces that they signed Jay Glazer.
Of course.
On their broadcast team. So Bellator will now have Mike Goldberg and Mauro Ranallo.
And Jay Glazer. Big John McCarthy, and Chael Sonnen all on their broadcast. That's insane.
I don't think it'll be like all five of them sitting at a desk trying to do commentary.
Is it going to be like two guys ringside, two guys up in the booth somewhere, and then one guy who goes in the cage after the fights? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I could see that. But this is all now with the new Paramount Network. But I just thought it was funny because it was like, we got Jimmy Smith. We got Jay Glazer.
Yeah. And we already had John McCarthy, so go fuck yourself.
Which they did when they released Jimmy Smith.
Yeah.
Jimmy Smith's gone.
They went and fucked themselves?
We got McCarthy.
Oh. Okay. I didn't know what happened.
It was huge.
Huge. I don't know if you guys saw the tweets that were going across with Hawaii got attacked by a missile and then not attacked by a missile.
So did Japan, like 2 days later.
Over this week.
Very strange.
I just thought this was pretty
Did you
funny.
see the Pornhub spike?
Yeah, Pornhub spike is
did.
hilarious.
Dude, like everybody put their dicks away.
Everyone stopped masturbating.
No, but then it quadrupled.
When they said it was fake.
Yeah.
That's so weird. It's like
You think it would be opposite?
Yeah.
Be like, missile attack, fuck this, I'm going
yeah,
out.
like the plane story on Mallrats,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Like the plane's going down, fuck it, I'm gonna take my dick out and just beat it to death. There's a missile coming, I'm getting one more out. But no, everybody just stopped, they folded their laptops down, they fucking called their families, told them they loved them, and then the text came out, was like, sorry, our bad. Well, I'm going to fucking look up lesbians
Going
again.
back back to where it was.
Yeah.
But I did like this. Max Holloway put up this picture of him. I got this, Hawaii. Kneeing the missile.
Way to go, Max.
Yeah, see, I seen that picture, and I hadn't even heard about the whole missile thing yet. And I was like, what does any of this mean?
I don't know, understand.
I'm so lost.
What's happening?
That's what happens.
He's launching himself somewhere?
Yes. When you leave your password for a missile launch crisis on your desktop computer, where it says password, and it's all written below that, it can happen.
John Jones, in order to further prove his innocence and clear his name, independently of the UFC and USADA, has taken a polygraph test that says that he passed when asked if he knowingly took a performance-enhancing drug.
Great for him. They haven't allowed polygraphs in the court system in like 30 years.
They are definitely pseudoscience. I think it's funny. Cormier was recently asked about it, and he says, he took a polygraph to prove his innocence.
Wasn't it Wonder Woman's creator that created the polygraph too?
He says, now I'm going to say this, Ted Bundy passed the polygraph too. And then he fucking killed the guy, so we'll give it to him.
He killed the polygrapher. I don't know if that's true, but
It was pretty interesting. What do you think about all this? Do you think...
I mean, he's tested dirty more than once.
Did he cough a lot? Because I heard you could pass the polygraph by coughing.
You're supposed to put a tack in your shoe, and then
That's tacky.
Right?
it's
You
tacky.
You kind of...
You press on it every time they ask you a question.
No matter,
Well, I've also heard-
no matter if it was true or not, right?
Yeah.
So that
You
it
step on it.
constantly
Yep.
spikes.
Yeah.
I've also
exactly.
heard that if you tell yourself something enough, you believe it.
Yeah, it's true.
I tell myself I'm 6 feet tall all the time.
Hey, and in some liquor stores, when they put the tape wrong on the door, you are 6 feet.
I like those liquor stores. They're my favorite ones.
It's like, I feel good about myself.
Pat Healy.
Giraffe. I'm just saying that. Somebody started watching.
Oh, Pat Healy has decided to retire from mixed martial arts.
The guy who made the shoes?
No. Pat Healy has been fighting since 2001. He's fought people such as Dennis Kang, Dan Hardy, Chris Lytle, Paul Daly, Jay Haran.
Yeah, he's old school.
Carlos Prater, Carlos Condit, Jake
I remember his fight
Ellenberger,
with Chris
Khabib,
Lytle, I think, yeah.
Bobby Green. Yeah, he's fought a lot of people. He was in the UFC. He was in Strikeforce. Anyway, he has decided to. He recently fought at Titan FC, and he's decided now to retire and focus on his gym.
Good luck, Pat Healy. We wish you luck in the shoe business.
Wish you the best. Bobby Knuckles.
I know. I got you. I got it.
Bobby Knuckles
Yeah.
is out.
Yep.
He says, I am beyond disappointed and unable to defend my title in my home country of Australia at UFC 221.
Such a disappointment.
I look forward to recovery soon. However, the UFC has announced that they are going to be taking Yoel Romero, who we just talked about recently, was supposed to be fighting David Branch, out of his fight and will now take the number 1 contender on Luke Rockhold.
Which makes so much more sense than him fighting the number 10 contender.
This will be a interim belt.
Of course.
Now, a lot of people are upset saying, how is that? Why are we having another interim belt? We're going to have another interim belt. I'm just tired of interim belts. I mean, at least...
It is technically the interim belt of an interim belt, isn't it?
No.
No?
When George St. Pierre dropped the belt, they said, you're now the undisputed champion, Bobby Knuckles.
Nope, George St. Pierre still is.
And then he dropped the belt.
On the hearts and minds of all children.
And then...
What's that movie about the dreams inside a dream inside a dream?
Inception?
Yeah, this is interim inception.
Interimception.
I did like somebody's comment online that said, I think the next bobblehead should be an interim belt. Because that's become very popular.
That's going to be the fighter of the year this year.
Yeah, but the company making the bobbleheads is Bellator, and Bellator does not have any interim belts.
You got a good point.
very true.
Scott Coker don't play that shit.
I mean, do you think it's fair to strip him? Or do you think they should just make this the number 1 contender belt?
I think it's a little early to strip.
Yeah, you can't strip him.
Okay. I'm 100% behind that. Do you
We
think
still haven't officially stripped Connor.
Well, we'll get to that here in a little bit.
We don't even know what's going on with
Yeah,
that.
we'll get to hear that in a little bit. But let's continue to focus on this here. Do you think...
Did you just say focus to us two?
Do you think that an interim belt is warranted, or should they just make this for the number 1 contender?
They like to have belts, man. Belts draw attention. They're shiny. You know?
Shiny?
I think...
It's like all the fucking raccoons are out there just grabbing at it and not letting go.
Come on.
Personally, I think they had Luke Rockhold sign for a title fight to keep his payday where it's at. They may have to.
It's
I don't know all the financials
That actually makes a lot of
the
sense.
UFC, but they would have to keep him in a title fight, so they offer an interim belt.
Yeah, that makes more sense than anything else. But
Especially if he's not willing to wait, or they're not, they don't know what the return is on Bobby Knuckles.
he wants that payday. He's not gonna step down the payday for a number 1 contender spot versus a title shot. So
I still think the card is stacked. I mean, you got Luke Rockhold against Yoel Romero now for the interim belt. You got Curtis Blades against Mark Hunt. Lee Jingling against Jake Matthews.
I don't believe there's anything as a bad card anymore. I mean, I don't want to be these people that are...
Like Dave Metzler, who says that all sales are down right now. And views.
But I mean, they are.
we've called cards bad cards that have gone on to shock us, and we've looked at cards that are amazing that have been boring.
But I mean, the euphoria of the casual is wearing off. The euphoria of being able to give the casual everything that he wants on every card is going away.
Do you feel
and now we're getting back to people who really want to see fighters fight. You want to see up and comers coming uppers.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's another search on Pornhub.
My thing is like, I remember some of the older cards. I mean, we have the posters all over our lobby and inside of here, where I felt the cards were super stacked, but spaced out a little bit more. They weren't every other weekend or every 2 weeks.
But
Do you think they should go?
we're saturated with fighters, though. That's
Right,
what people
but they
don't
used
understand.
but they used to have more fight nights where that would be the kind of the lower guys, or they would have things.
Oh, I get you.
They would have things like Showtime had the Show XC. Remember they had the lower, or they had the Strikeforce Challenger series, where you knew these were all up and coming guys,
right?
And it wasn't going to be a large card, but the large cards were always stacked.
Yeah.
With every single fight means someone's moving up closer to a title. Nowadays, I mean, I understand you said they have multiple fighters and they're trying to put them wherever they can. But do you think they should go back to? Do you want less MMA and more stacked cards? No. Or are you still cool with every 2 weeks to every week?
I will agree with you on one issue. For pay-per-views, I think maybe we need to space them out. But I mean, how do you? Somebody was asking me, how do you feel about maybe a 2 to 4 fight card midweek, just so we can start getting through some of these people. Mm-hmm. Like Wednesday night fights.
Right.
I don't mind that at all.
Like Showtime, right? Showtime used to have fights, every Monday night?
Yeah,
As long as the money's there for everybody involved.
That's what I think it comes down to.
But I mean, you guys talking about the pay-per-views. We got 2 belt fights coming up on this one on Saturday. They're still finding a way to put a belt on virtually every card. Mm-hmm. You can. I mean, especially with the introduction of the women's division.
Yeah, with all the weight classes.
Now we got 4 or 5 women weight classes. And then now they're coming up too where they're wanting to split up the weight classes. So I mean, we could have it to where we have a belt contention fight every
month.
pay-per-view.
Yeah, we pretty much do. Yeah. So I'm fine with it.
You're fine with it?
Yeah. Because I don't mind seeing the fighters that maybe they don't have a big ring to their name, but they're still going in there and fighting.
Yeah,
and that's what I
very
watch
true.
for.
Very true.
I'm not cool with the new prices. Like they're going to charge us more for this weekend.
Allegedly,
I guess.
yeah.
I haven't went to pay for it yet.
Yeah,
but
I haven't either, so I
Really?
haven't seen. Cynthia Calvillo, who we just talked to, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Who recently fought at UFC 219. That was back in December. Has failed a USADA testing that she has failed for marijuana metabolites.
Oh, Cynthia.
There was rumors and talks way beforehand that she was like a Diaz brother, the way she talks, the way she fights, the way she just doesn't give a fuck.
Now she wants to completely emulate the Diaz.
And that's what everyone keeps saying is that way to go full Diaz by getting busted for
the full Diaz. I like that.
by testing
She's gone
positive.
full Diaz.
So we will see what actually comes out of this with Cynthia here.
Suspension. Well, they're a little easier on the weed now, aren't they?
I would believe so.
But she was 190, 180, which is over the 150, which was set for Nick. so she high jumped over Nick's number.
They're breaking barriers, man.
Breaking barriers.
Breaking barriers.
Fucking golden snitch.
This was just announced this week that we have Heather Hardy will be fighting Anna Juliton. Bellator 194, and also they will have a second bout in boxing. Now, both of these girls obviously are from the boxing world, with Heather Hardy being the current WBC International female featherweight champion, and Juliton is a former WBO world female super bantamweight holder. They both had their boxing debut, so I think it's kind of interesting that they're doing a mix. I don't know if it's going to be on Bellator, the boxing. Obviously, the MMA is, but I haven't read anything about where the boxing event is going to be taking place. But I do like that they are getting to fight
In a
both
warehouse?
sports.
In a warehouse. Yeah, like
Some side, outside
you could have them go 1-1, and then the tiebreaker match could be a game of chess.
Oh.
What?
Or you have them do what?
I'm down.
Have them do
I'm a
kickboxing.
pretty good chess player.
Bellator kickboxing.
Yeah, but they actually used to have that one where you would box for a round, and then you had to sit down and play chess for a round.
Yeah, chess boxing.
Chess, yes.
It's called chess boxing.
Such a complicated name.
get
You think that I would remember
box
that?
and beat the shit out of each other. You both got to sit down and make chess moves, and then go back and beat the shit out of each other, and go
Like,
back and make chess moves.
Like, didn't you guys ask somebody, what's that game where you mix football and bowling? Foaling.
Bowling.
Of course. Why wouldn't it be
I
called
thought that was
foaling?
birthing calves.
That's horses.
right.
Horses are called foals.
Foals, that's right.
That'd be
Got
calving.
it.
Calving.
What is calving, to get the answer correct?
I know what caving is.
That's another search, people.
Ass spelunking.
Chris Lytle back in the MMA news.
We were just talking about him.
Chris Lytle fought at Bare Knuckle Boxing 9
All right.
and knocked someone the fuck out.
I wouldn't fucking fight Chris Lytle with bare knuckles.
Bare Knuckle
ever.
Boxing, no gloves, wraps only, contested in 3-minute rounds.
No.
Chris
Nope.
Lytle.
Lights out Lytle?
Yep, lights out Lytle.
Hey, do you want to bare knuckle box? Lights out Lytle? No.
I'm good. You can
I'd
check-
rather fight my dad with his belt.
Check that
No.
out on YouTube if you just look up
That's
Chris
another
Lytle,
search.
Bare Knuckle Boxing.
Probably is, actually. Bare knuckle boxing. All right, well, good for Chris Lytle back in the back in the light for Lytle.
Back in the light.
It makes me feel good when, these guys find some way and it's not a bad thing.
I want to know who he
Like
fought.
the next thing we're talking about?
Yeah, like good old gender wars. The biggest sham in mixed martial arts recent history.
I'd like to say the views and fuck it. We all feel the same
Yeah.
way.
We all feel the same way.
We all feel.
Let's just talk
I was gonna
about.
try to say it some other way, but we all feel the same way.
Let's open up a little bit about the gender war situation.
It's bad when Don Fry.
Did he put down his whiskey and talk shit about it?
Well, he just had some things to say.
Did he?
Yeah.
So gender wars was alleged to take place in Russia on what was that? The 12th.
Friday, right? Was it Friday or
12th.
Saturday? It's Friday. Okay.
We don't even know what day it really happened.
This
It could have been filmed prior to this.
This has been promoted as a legit contest between a man versus a woman in a fight. They later tried to go back and say that it was a combative contest for cash.
It was interpretive dance.
Bullshit.
They also said that Travis Wolf was supposed to be fighting Wes Sims. 2 days beforehand, Travis Wolf pulled himself from the fight after finding out more of the
It was
details.
bullshit.
They reached out to another fighter in Iowa. His name is Alex.
That's my thing. If
And
this was
offered him the fight
if
once
this
he
was
found
worked
out.
out ahead of time, how do you have people drop out?
he turned down the fight as well after they told him he had to drive 6 hours in the snow to Minnesota, and then he would eventually be flying to Russia, which he thought was
the same day,
bogus. The same day,
even though it takes 12 hours.
Not on a Learjet.
And then we also had Shannon Rich, MMA fighter, go
Or
up
the new
against,
UberTube.
a pro wrestler that's on the independent
From the
circuit.
Avengers.
And this thing did happen on a pay-per-view like channel on the internet for $12.
You nailed it. It was a thing that happened. It was not anything that it was supposed to be.
They had
promotional-wise.
multiple skits in between and before the show.
Did those people get paid? Were they
Everybody,
actors?
as far as everybody I know, got paid.
Nobody got paid.
No. As far as I know,
We can't say that. We cannot say that. We do not know.
All of the
I
talent
want to see
there-
pay stubs.
I know,
all
but you
of the
can't say
talent
that
there-
nobody got paid. We do not know if anybody got
Allegedly,
paid.
all of the talent there got paid.
Okay.
Allegedly, there was only 70 views total for this entire event. But anyway, they had skits where they had a...
And even that, I'm going to argue with. I mean, there had to been, for 12 something, there had to been people that were like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 70 of them.
No, well,
That was what the max count was that I've been given by multiple sources.
okay.
And whether it's true or not, I don't know. Maybe they'll release their numbers eventually.
Well, if it's like
They will.
if it's like
they're gonna say they had
UFC,
1 million buys.
yeah, if it's
And then
UFC,
the IRS is going to go,
Yeah.
really? And they're going to be like, shit. No, we didn't think that through either. No, we lied.
Again, they had multiple skits. They had one that was like a poker game where they had someone dressed up like Putin, someone dressed up like Hillary, someone playing a Dana White-like character, someone dressed up like John Jones covered in cocaine.
Allegedly.
talcum powder, possibly.
Yeah, we don't know what it was.
Baking soda.
Anyway, and it was just a lot of it was in very poor taste. They did the matches. Watching the matches, they did look very scripted to a lot of people. I at the time did not know if they were scripted or not.
So did you buy this?
Shannon Rich, we'll talk about that later. Shannon Rich won his bout
One of
against
70.
Jerry Miles. And then the woman did win her fight against the man.
Was Shannon Rich's fight? It wasn't even real, huh?
No. So after all of this has come out, everyone started questioning it pretty much the day it was happening. Like, you're on a flight to Russia right now, but you're tweeting and texting and sending pictures and all this kind of stuff. Isn't the event in like an hour? Like, they don't even have a McDonald's in that Russia. Like, what are you talking about? You're sending pictures of a drive-thru in Russia. You're sending pictures of drive-thrus of this McDonald's in Russia, and that McDonald's doesn't have a drive-thru. Like, everyone starts calling them out on their BS.
It's the internet, man.
So it wasn't just you.
No.
They found Shia LaBeouf's flag like 3 fucking times. You think they're gonna figure this out?
It was not just me. I'm talking multiple people. To the fact Tara LaRosa, MMA fighter and women's pioneer, got involved in this because of her whole thing where she was supposed to be fighting the internet troll.
Right.
Where basically she was listening to some of the interviews and being like, this girl doesn't know what she's talking about. She's talking about she wants to open doors for women and be able to get paydays. And she's like, I'm an actual fighter. Like, I'm an actual...
I open doors.
And they wouldn't let me do it.
And they
I'm a door
wouldn't let me
opener.
do it. Like, I'm a door opener. Like, who are you to say this kind of thing? So pretty much it went with a lot of people questioning it. And then slowly but surely, people started releasing little tidbits that they had heard of, that they knew, that they had talked about, that were going on. And come to find out, it wasn't in Russia, that the whole thing happened in Minnesota somewhere.
In a warehouse that looks like Russia.
And then, that the commission had no idea this was going on. Well, if this is supposed to be a legit fight, the commission should probably know, regardless whether it's in Russia or not. So Minnesota Athletic Commission started looking into this. It's been a wild, weird, crazy spiral of deception, lies, and people finding things out and trading information.
Not only is there pretty much nobody coming out and saying that any of this was legit, that the promoters have now backtracked and said that it was entertainment.
Yes. One of the promoters came out recently with an apology statement saying that he apologizes for anybody that feels deceived. He apologizes to anybody that thought it was anything else. He feels that they made it clear that it was entertainment from the beginning. Even though multiple podcasts and MMA websites have come out and say, no, you sold this to us as being legit. Freak show, yes. Odd and kind of weird, okay, but seemed legit.
How does do we know how the guy from We Are MMA UK, because he bit down the hardest?
Yeah.
I've
been talking to him online for quite a bit. He's not happy.
Yeah,
he's very upset. In fact, he recently said, we all had our doubts, but we questioned him.
Yeah, even in all his interviews, he was like, he was like, just tell me the truth.
I talked to
just tell me the truth.
A podcast by a fighter. He goes by Captain Caveman. You can check out the Caveman podcast. He was talking about it. He had them on, and they had a fan who is a fan of his podcast come on and have a debate with Brad about, dude, this isn't real. Just tell everybody it's not real. And they sold it so hard that it was real. They did not want to let it go.
It's like Shaggy. It wasn't me.
Yeah,
like she saw me banging on the bathroom floor. Wasn't me.
Nick just posted in. He said that they all signed non-disclosure.
They all did have to sign non-disclosure. So all the fighters and talent that was there had to disclose. And I've talked to a couple of them, and they said, "Yeah, we were told we were not allowed to talk about it. We're not allowed to tell anybody we're not really in Russia."
So I mean, at this
point,
point,
knew it was fake.
Well, then we have to believe they did get paid.
That's what I agree. I agree.
Okay.
I'm not saying that they didn't get paid.
Yeah, okay.
I'm saying I'm from everything I heard, they did get paid. Those people.
I'll believe it when I see pay stubs.
I talked to a guy who went down, and he was the Dana White character. I believe his name is Scott Lewis. He's in Florida. He has his own radio show and his own podcast. And he said, "Yeah, I got my money and I left." It was the worst thing I've ever taken part of, but I got my money and left.
Did he feel dirty?
Yeah, he did.
Did he have to go take a shower
I
afterwards?
think he probably did. So yeah, this whole thing is getting crazy blown out. Most people now at this point just want to say, you know what? We will have nothing to do with these guys ever again. We will not promote anything they want to promote. We do not want to help them with anything they want to help. And this was the worst, slap in MMA's face in a long time. Like in my personal opinion, if they would have came out from the beginning and said, we're going to do like a comedy show, a sketch comedy show about MMA. We're going to have some fake matches. We're going to have some topical subjects. We're going to do this and that. And they would have been there, I think, even us would have covered it. Would have talked about it.
Would have paid for it.
Would have possibly paid for it.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I think we would have talked about it because we barely talked about this leading up to it, especially before we found out a lot of the stuff that we're finding out now. Because we talked about it more last week.
Yep.
But leading up to it, we kind of stayed away from it because we all kind of felt weird about it. Like something wasn't sitting right. But if we knew from the get-go.
Well, for us, I think the $1 million was the standout.
There was a big $1 million. Like, how do they come with $1 million? Who are these guys?
I mean, Dodge started pushing that from the beginning. He's like, if you did have $1 million, Kohler, and you're trying to help out fighters, why wouldn't you pay it to these fighters if you have the $1 million?
Why wouldn't you set up like a tournament and then have a year-long tournament to win $1 million?
They talked about in interviews.
Or even a 4-week, a week to week to week.
Yeah.
They've talked about in interviews that, they want to give back to these old school UFC fighters who really can't fight anymore. They aren't getting the breaks that they used to. We want to. So why didn't you just have them fight?
Yeah.
We talked about a Legends League forever. People talk about it all the time. Vitor's trying to start one himself.
If you're doing like a USO show for veteran MMA fighters, then call it what it is.
Even in the comments they've said now, look, we what we're trying to do is create a show where we can give, some of these guys can't really perform anymore, so if it's choreographed, they won't get as hurt. Cool. If you would have said this all from the beginning and not try to shine everybody over that it was a legit thing, I think people would have embraced it a little more. Right now, you kicked a hornet's nest, and you guys are not helping yourselves and burning a lot of bridges.
In a fight community.
That's very tight.
I will give you
Not
one.
a knitting community. A fight community.
Yeah, I will give them one thing, dude. We run game on the West Coast. We run some shady shit. But for some side hustle, this was pretty creative.
It was creative.
It was really creative.
I saw another guy that was like, dude, this is a creative idea. You just went about it the wrong way.
I think if you guys, I don't know, if you guys would have contacted us after a day of drinking, we could have helped put together a whole different idea.
Yeah.
And what kills me is when we were listening to your original interview and I said something about midgets, you guys acted like that was insane. And hindsight
makes more sense.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if we had little people versions of all the stars in the UFC and then put together? Never mind. This is copyright. Good decision. Don't take our idea.
But yeah, it's absolutely insane how, like I said, how deep this hole is going. It's still going on right now on Facebook, on social media.
Can we copyright LUFC?
They tried to come across.
No. Is there any legal ramifications?
Well, here's the thing.
LPUFC?
They tried to come across to multiple podcasts to clear their name. Nobody wanted anything to do with them after what had been revealed. So they've only now just released a couple of statements across their own social media. I don't know where it's going to go. They claim they did nothing wrong because it was all fake. They don't have to get a commission for doing something fake, which is true. They don't have to get a commission for doing anything fake. However, my personal opinion that I'm sure that people, if you want to look into the legal ramifications of all of this, if you bought this event thinking it was going to be real because nowhere did it state that it wasn't, you can probably get your money back, at least.
At minimum.
Yeah, at the minimum. 2, The fact that they said that we're having an online contest for competitors to come and be on our show, be the man or the woman, and a chance to win $1 million, even though both of those selections were predetermined, and this is in a direct quote from one of the creators of it, that it was a predetermined. I think if they considered it a real contest, depending on your state, they could also get in trouble because that's...
No, this is a marketing nightmare all over.
Yeah.
Everything they did was from a marketing standpoint, was completely not likely that it was legal at all. And I don't even know, to be honest with you, with 70 buys, I don't know if that's enough people for a class action lawsuit.
I don't think it will be.
No. And what did I seen you post something about Don McGuire?
Don McGuire, who's a photographer for the UFC, for Bellator. He's been a long time. He has his own podcast. They tried to reach out to him to clear their name.
Oh, okay.
People started telling him, including Terry LaRosa, I think you should look into this a little bit more. Once he did, he said, you know what? I don't want anything to do with this. I'm not sullying in my podcast and my name for this bullshit.
Yeah, because when you started hound dogging it, and then I seen that, I was like, dude, a
lot of people got involved.
I mean, we were all jokingly upset about it.
Yeah.
But then to start seeing, everybody else is on the bandwagon, dude, what did you guys just do?
Yeah.
What did you guys do?
I wish the best of luck to him. I mean,
I don't.
Again, I'm not gonna fault somebody. Because again, it was a good hustle.
Bamboozled. Bamboozled.
It's a good hustle. I just think, like Dodge said, there's so many other angles that could have been taken on this.
Yeah.
I don't know. You burned a shitload of bridges.
Burned a lot
now
of
you're
bridges.
blocking a lot of people because you don't want to face
Deleting
the facts.
comments.
Deleting comments. I can't abide by that.
Yeah.
So and you're talking about this is only creating more publicity for gender wars too. We'll see how well that goes.
That's what I said.
Yeah, then don't block us.
They said all the controversy is going to sell their next show. I beg to differ. That's personal opinion. Like I said, maybe the whole story, they can come out and try to tell the whole story again. But from the beginning, in my opinion, it has not been the whole story.
No.
It has always been some sort of farce.
No, you did it. Just admit it. Isn't that Chris Rock? No, you did it.
Just admit it.
UFC Fight Night 124 also happened over the weekend. Did you guys get a chance to watch?
No.
Oh, I did watch
It
it.
was actually pretty good.
Man.
There's a lot of little stories built into this card, so if you want to start on the bottom there and then...
You don't even have to tell me who won. It's like I knew before it started.
Dennis did go 4-0 on his
Nice.
pick.
5.
4.
Araya did not show up. I mean, Mr. Hall did not show up.
No,
So
he
doesn't
did not,
count.
but that does not count because the fight never happened.
Okay.
Mads Burnell got a win over Mike Santiago with unanimous decision. JJ Aldrich gets unanimous decision over Danielle Taylor. And Jessica Ai wins over Kalindra Faria with a split decision. Jumping on to Fox Sports 1 here, you had Kyung Ho Kang over Guido Canetti with a submission triangle choke. Irene Aldana over Talita Bernardo with unanimous decision. Polo Reyes over Matt Frivola with a KO in the first round at exactly 60 seconds. And James Krause beats Alex White with unanimous decision. Main card, Fox Sports 1. Darren Elkins over Michael
damage!
Johnson. Yeah, what the hell,
Did
man?
not see this coming.
No.
Did you? Okay, be honest. Did you see a submission coming?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Over Michael Johnson?
Yeah.
I don't believe you. I can understand the
I
win.
don't believe
When you
you.
picked him, I was like, he's pretty fucking tenacious, and Johnson kind of gets a little lazy sometimes.
I honestly thought.
But a submission?
I honestly thought that was the only way. Because I didn't think.
You didn't think he'd win decision?
No. Well, maybe. No. I thought it was the only way because, number one, both these guys have shown that you could beat the hell out of them.
It's true. True.
So I was thinking they'd beat the hell out of each other. They'd be so tired on the ground.
You would just get him.
that he would get some sort of
put your arm up like
submission.
this,
yeah.
I'll just let it happen. We're going to end this right now.
Yeah.
Shh,
And
just let it
then,
happen.
well, how about when you talk to him and he says that that's the exact submission that they had been working on for 12 weeks?
Yeah.
That submission alone.
That submission alone, a rear
You're going to
naked
get
choke.
him with this when he's tired.
We have not worked on rear naked chokes my entire career, but for 12 weeks, I've been working
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. You act like it's a generic submission.
Eventually, you're going to be on his
I've
back.
never seen that
Yeah.
submission in
What?
my life.
You act like if you're playing the UFC game that you can do it by mashing buttons.
No, there's fucking Gogo Plata, there's Reverse Bulldog, and then there's the fabled rear naked choke.
And those are all search terms too.
Reverse Bulldog. Yes. Woo. Kamaru Usman over Emil Weber Meek
Now,
with unanimous decision.
This was freaking crazy to me. He comes out and he says that
I like that.
in his post fight
You should put Hendrix battery because that's the Johnny Hendrix battery.
Totally. He comes out and he says, "Listen, I fought about 30%, and I still dominated a tough so-called Viking. I dominated him at 30%. Nobody could stop me. Kobe Covington, you can run, but you can't hide. Dana, I'm coming to sit with you and we'll talk." Dana White's like, 30%. What the fuck? Like he's a tough guy. You can impose his will, but you don't jump up and start acting like you knock somebody out and say you went 30%.
Yeah.
What if this was on pay-per-view? Do you use 60%? Like, well, he's like, I love the fight that he wants, but come on, it's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard.
If you don't finish a guy and then you say you're operating at 30%.
Yeah.
If you finish a dude and you're like, oh, I was half asleep. Well, that's something else.
Usman would like to clarify and say, I didn't understand. They didn't understand my post fight, and I didn't quite understand how. I was trying to say I came in at 30% health. He's like, I could have pulled out of the fight, but I didn't. I did it anyway, and I still beat the top 10 guy.
Spin. Nice spin. Nobody's buying it, but nice spin.
I will fight anybody at 30%.
I didn't even get out of bed at 30%. Nope. Then you had Jessica Rose Clark over Paige Van Zant with unanimous decision.
Paige Van Zant broke her arm.
Okay, arm doesn't break. Does the fight still end up the same way?
She says it broke in the first round.
Yeah, she broke it like almost immediately.
No, I'm just
doing
saying,
a
though.
spinning back fist, and it ended up the forearm hit the side of her head. You could see the crack here. That's a pretty big fracture.
A shitty fracture.
Her coach says she thought, hey, I think I cracked it or fractured it. And he's like, well, does it hurt? No, I'm fine. And he's all, I didn't see her drop it at all. She kept fighting with it. We didn't think
because it numbed up on her.
Yeah, we didn't think to ask her. You think we should stop this fight at all?
Right.
Like, no, he didn't because she kept going through it. So.
I don't know if the fight goes the same way. I mean, that's a pretty serious break pretty early on.
Yeah.
But I mean, also, Clark kind of laid off that arm. She kicked it once. She made a weird noise like a dying rabbit. And then Clark stayed away from that arm. I mean, if she'd have fought Evil Eye like she was supposed to and this had happened,
Evil Eye would have tried
Evil Eye
breaking
would
it.
have grabbed that arm
Yeah.
and twisted it
Give her
off.
the Indian bird.
Like, can you make your index finger touch your forearm? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. And what pisses me off, and Dave Madden pointed it out, is Clark wins, Paige breaks her arms, loses. There's 300 articles this week about
Paige's arm and not one about Clark.
About how Clark has pretty much solidified herself in the top 10.
Oh, the flyweight, hands down.
In the flyweight.
And she should be getting a title shot or soon at least a contender shot.
I'm not with the title shot.
Contender shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Soon.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, wasn't saying immediately. Soon.
Right.
Well, I mean, because Paige Van Zant, we've always known since she came into the UFC, is kind of hit or miss. Let's give her a little more solid fighter in that division and see how she does against that.
Yep.
No, make her fight Evil Eye.
Make her fight Evil Eye.
I would like to see that fight.
Jeremy Stevens gets a win over Duho Choi with the TKO in the second round as well.
Pride died.
Yeah. I guess he's not going to get his title shot before he goes off to Korea for his army thing that he's going to have to do his mandatory military service.
Maybe he'll come back and get it.
Did anybody see this? I thought this was really funny. A UFC employee ran in and jumped over to Mario Yamasaki, who had a Nike logo on the side of his shirt, and covered it with tape in the middle of the broadcast.
No.
Because Reebok says, fuck you.
I wonder if Reebok has like software and
that recognizes the logo?
it. It's all.
It would have been awesome if the ref was just a huge blur because of that. Be like a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
Or if they came in with scissors and like cut it off.
Just cut the sleeve off. Instead, they get electrical tape over it. And even Yamasaki's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, or took
the guy
a
came behind
Sharpie
him.
and just colored it in.
Because if you look, watch this clip. It's pretty freaking great. He gets like behind him, like, we're just going to put that right there. And y'all was like, what? What are you doing to my shirt, bro?
Yeah, you can't have that.
He should have ran like he was putting a sticky bomb on it.
No.
It was like illegal contraband right there.
More into the Uriah Hall story.
I wonder if he got his ass chewed.
Probably.
They don't like Yamasaki anyway.
But he's not a UFC employee. There's nothing they can do about it.
Oh, that's a good point.
Nothing they can do.
They should be providing ref shirts at the events.
If that's
for all
what
the
they
refs
want,
then.
yeah.
Shut up. That's going to happen now. You can get a Yamasaki
Fight kit.
Ref
Fight kit. Ref kit.
That's also
Does it come with the
search
gloves? The Reebok's gloves?
Yeah.
No, it's just going to have the heart on it.
Just like
Just go type. Just go
What does
type in
it do? Those dicks,
Yamasaki.
right? Yeah.
Yamasaki.
More on the Uriah Hall story. Uriah Hall did pull out of his fight the day of
Refs
the
are
weigh-ins.
good. We're hard on refs. I'm sorry. They're great people.
Except Yamasaki.
saying that he passed out at the weigh-ins, that Paige Van Zant tweeted that she felt it looked like he had a seizure.
Like it was the worst thing she'd ever seen.
She was definitely scared for
You
him.
can't miss weight if you don't weigh in.
So instead, just have a seizure and a heart attack and you're good.
Yeah,
Nobody confirmed the seizure or the heart attack.
Except for Uriah Hall.
Which I'm getting to that story.
Okay.
Dana White said that he was not happy. He said, this guy was at the Performance Institute. And he's what's the word? He doesn't take it serious. He won't listen to anything that anybody tries to tell him. He does his own thing. A week before the fight, he went to LA. He was hanging out in LA in clubs and stuff, so that's not good. He texted me that he was back in his room Sunday night. Obviously, he's not good. You don't cut weight the right way. You're not supposed to. This is what's going to happen.
You're not supposed to cut weight with alcohol?
No? It's a solution.
It is.
So basically, he's saying,
that
that he may have to move up in weight if this is going to be an issue. Uriah Hall said, as far as clearing the air with White, I was partying in LA. What else was I doing? I haven't taken my training seriously. I wasn't following procedure. Okay, you tell me in my entire career, all of a sudden I'm going to go party in LA. It's too funny. He's like, what happens when you don't come out like... when you don't come out, a lot of speculations happen. He's like, I know there's a lot of miscommunication. What's going on? People think I punked out. I definitely want to apologize to Vitor and his camp, which Vitor was claiming he wasn't even paid his show money, and he's upset.
Yeah. I saw that too. That's kind of bullshit.
That's kind of BS.
But
he goes, I know
if they reschedule him within a month,
he won't have to.
Yeah.
I know it sucks to go through and all that, and not fight. I've been there, but for the record, I did make weight. I just failed to make it to the scale, which sucked. I've never had a problem cutting weight, and what happened was I ignored some issues that had happened prior. As a fighter, we don't have sick days. I know some of you have sick days, but I don't get sick days. So for me, it was just to show up, and I showed up, but my body was not willing.
I don't make $150,000 to show up one day.
I don't want to get into details. We said the cut was harder than anything he had before.
I'm just saying, I don't get $150,000 to show up for one fucking day. I don't even make $150,000 in the whole year that I have to show up. Don't compare yourself to me and my sick days.
He's saying
he's in the union.
I knew what was happening, but I was fighting over it. I was punching anyway. I had a mini seizure at the same time. Had a slight heart attack. My kidneys were not good. It's
Not good.
An injury that I ignored. We'll see what happens from there. So
Big if true. Big if true.
Okay.
Ended badly.
big craziness.
He almost what's that movie? To Live and Die in L.A. It almost happened.
Almost happened.
Going into UFC 220, which we'll get to here quickly.
We can do 220 or 192 first?
Well, I have 192 first, but going into UFC 220, we do have our current stat up. Conor McGregor's not defending the title in 434 days. There are rumors strongly on almost every MMA website
like at 470 by
that
now.
I will be able to find that says that Conor McGregor will be stripped of his title at UFC 220, and that they are announcing at UFC 220 that Tony Ferguson will fight Khabib Nurmagomedov at UFC 223. And it will be for the title
belt, which Conor will come back and be the immediate number one contender if he comes back.
If he comes back. This is supposed to be happening April 7th at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. However, I still have not seen anything directly from the UFC. This is all going off the speculation of the podcast and the multiple quotes we talked about on this show that Dana White said, if he wants to wait till September, that's too long. I have to make the Khabib fight. That's all that everybody's going off of. They're still running that same.
Maybe this is one of those things where if enough of us will it to happen, it happens.
Khabib's camp said, and they released to a Russian MMA website, which then got picked up around here and brought back that, oh no, Dana White told me that they're stripping him this, and we have to go to UFC 220 to make the announcement.
But his camp also
said that he didn't
tweeted out something.
Tiramisu?
No. Tweeted out, no deal or bad deal, midweek.
Yeah.
And there was also someone posted a headline where the UFC says that they're fighting for an interim belt.
Let me ask you this.
Well, they'd be fighting for Tony's interim belt because he has the interim belt.
Right.
Was it a Russian website or was it a Minnesota warehouse website? That makes a big difference.
This is great. I mean, see there again.
So I'm interested
We
to
got
see-
new material.
I'm
We
in
can
for a
beat,
while.
we will beat the hell out of a dead horse. We'll make beef jerky out of that horse.
I'm interested
Use
to
everything.
see
Head to
if
toe.
this actually
Head to toe.
happens at UFC 220. I guess we'll find out whether or not it's actually going to happen.
Well,
or we can keep the count going. Because I have a lot of fun with this.
Like somebody pointed out to me, they're like,
That one actually changes.
I update it every week.
This one does not.
Dana never actually has to strip him. Dana never. What they can actually do is that they just say that this is for the belt, and then he has the belt. There's no formal stripping. That is just all done.
Seems odd.
Well, I mean, just so that he doesn't fall out of graces with God. He's like, you know what? I don't want to take it, but you don't want to fight.
I never actually said he was stripped. I just gave them the actual belt.
There you go.
There's a lot of MMA going on this
I
weekend.
didn't take your car. I just let them have it. I never touched the fucking thing.
What did you want me to do, Connor? What did you want me to do?
So we have one championship going on this weekend?
You do have one championship going on this weekend.
Happening in Jakarta, Indonesia.
Yeah, that's a big fight. And then we also have Bellator happening, which I don't have on my link here.
Bellator 192 kicking off their heavyweight Grand Prix this weekend with Rampage taking on Chael Sonnen as the first match in the Grand Prix, which is very exciting. They are releasing the alternates tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow they will be talking about alternates. Now, we have talked about this for a while. Bobby Lashley's still under contract with them, even though I recently read an article of Bobby Lashley saying he wants to get out of MMA and go back to pro wrestling, but we don't know if that's after his contract's up or if that's now. We also have talked about...
Ken Shamrock.
I don't think Ken Shamrock's going to be an alternate.
Shane Carwin.
Frank Shamrock.
Frank Shamrock's not going to be an alternate either.
Okay. Well, we know Rory's not.
No, because Rory is fighting for the welterweight title against Douglas Lima.
No, I think Shane Carwin's going to be one because he said he wasn't going to be one and then deleted all of his Reddit activity. So I think he's been training.
So we got Shane Carwin possibly. We have
what about the big hurt, Frank Thomas?
Bobby Lashley possibly.
Can we bring him in from the bullpen?
Yeah, he's taking a lot of testosterone now. He's doing commercials for it.
Jack Hager, who was the recent
I'm pretty sure that's not
signing,
USADA approved.
Known as Jack Swagger in the WWE world. He's a recent signing. It's possible that he could be in. I think Kurnatanov, Sergey, who was in the original,
Sergey would be awesome.
Was in the original Strikeforce heavyweight tournament. He has signed a contract with Bellator.
Yeah,
I think he could possibly.
What about WWE Kane?
No, they're not signed with Bellator.
We don't know that.
Mark Henry just
We
retired.
don't know that.
Mark Henry just retired.
They don't have a drug testing pool. They can just sign people this week. What about The Undertaker? He's been wanting to fight.
He's not going to
He's way too fucking old. He would die.
Really? Herschel Walker,
have you not seen who's in this tournament?
Herschel Walker, I could understand, but The Undertaker?
Oh, which Herschel Walker, though?
The one who fought in Strikeforce.
No, I know, but which one? He's got syndrome.
Oh.
Multiple personality.
So anyway, you can also check out Aaron Pico going up against Shane Crutchin. It should be an awesome bout. Shane Crutchin just recently signed to the Bellator, is a Marine.
We should have talked to him.
Former Marine.
Cool.
We should have talked to him.
Yeah. And then Michael Chandler going against Kajoti Yamayuchi. I didn't know that was an option. I'm sorry.
So this is all happening on Spike?
This is all going down on... No. Spike is dead. It is the new Paramount Network.
Paramount
Now,
Network.
is that Paramount, like Paramount Movies?
Yes.
Paramount Pictures?
Yes.
Or Paramount, or is it the Bug Company?
No, it's Paramount, like Paramount Movies.
Because here in Modesto, we have...
Like Paramount Pictures that made Top Gun?
Yes.
What?
Because they're the ones who own or be owned by Viacom. I don't know if you've been following Spike's Twitter, but it's fucking hilarious.
Oh, dude.
Somebody who used to work for Spike and or now the Paramount Network, because they definitely don't work for them anymore, just went off and was like, just all kinds of shit. Just shit posting on Twitter nonstop.
Yeah,
as
like some of the ideas. I was on Quaaludes when I came up with that idea.
Yeah. Talking about how you know what I love? I love falling asleep to Cops because there's 393 episodes that we showed back to back on Spike, and all it helps me sleep is violence and sirens.
Who has this login?
Yeah. Oh, you know,
dude,
you know
you
it's
gotta
going in.
see it. It's
Shut
great.
it down! We can't shut it down. He changed the password on us.
It's great.
Call that guy who shut down Trump's tweet. Come on.
So yeah, that will be going down out of LA in the forums. Who do you got in Chael versus Bellator? Or excuse me, Chael versus Rampage.
I got Paige.
Mickey
You got
Rourke.
Paige? You got Paige, right?
Yeah.
I want Chael to win the entire thing because it would be fucking hilarious. I would love for that to happen.
He's gonna walk out with his own belt anyway.
I know, but it's still.
He's done that before.
How'd you like his picture where he said, "I'm perfectly in weight," and he's got that old lady in bed holding the covers just up to her face? He's like, no more distractions. I'm the real fighter. And then there's an old lady in his bed.
I love him. I love the shit talking. Fucking love it. Just I want Chael to win just for that reason, and so he gets a belt. But really, if I had to bet right now,
Rampage.
No, it's alternate. I'm betting alternate all day.
No, okay, on this bout, Rampage.
I think Rampage probably has the skill set to take it if we don't get an alternate.
Lima or Rory.
I'm hoping for Rory, but I think he's going to bleed to death.
You think so? Yeah. You think Lima has the power to make him bleed to death?
I think a flea has the power to make him bleed to death.
All right, wait. Jack Fedicheco. I hope I'm not saying your name wrong. So what did they say? You said that the UC actually had the press conference today about Khabib and Tony. So what did they say?
I haven't seen a press conference.
We haven't seen the press conference.
No. They're saying they're going to make that announcement at the event tomorrow.
So Jack, if you're still watching, tell us what they said. We'll pay attention as we.
What's in the box, Jack?
What's in the box, Jack? Wait, Jack in the box?
Jack in the box.
It's not against you, Fedicheco. I don't even know if that's if I'm pronouncing it wrong. That's what we do.
Oh, there we go. Look up. We'll go UFC.com right now. Will be champion. They are announcing. There seems to be one question on everybody's mind. The winner will fight. Of this fight will be the champ. It's an undisputed title fight, so it has been announced at the press conference today. Tony Ferguson will be fighting Khabib Nurmagomedov at UFC 220.
Thanks, Fedicheco.
For the undisputed title.
Okay, so
They're
there it is.
stripping him his belt.
Okay, so
Thanks for keeping us correct there,
yeah,
Checo.
we've been locked in the studio for
Yeah, I
a
haven't
while.
been able to see anything yet.
Yeah, we got so much stuff to get ready for. Thanks for chiming in. So there you go. We're up to date. And
Yeah.
yes, we are live.
So yeah, UFC 220, which should have been had the little hashtag heavy hitters like they used to do back in the day.
Oh, that would've been
because you
awesome.
got Miocic and Nagano, man.
It's going to be big. It's going to be big. And we are kicking it off with Islam Makhachev up against Gleason Tabao, who is also a heavy hitter. Enrique
It's just a huge man for
Barzola,
lightweight. I don't know
yes.
how he cuts weight.
Magic beans. Enrique Barzola taking on Matt Bisette. And that's on your Fight Pass. Jumping on to Fox Sports 1, you have Dan EJ? I don't know.
So does this make, real quick, let me jump back, does this make Conor McGregor the first man to be stripped of 2 titles in the UFC for not defending them? Because we're not talking John Jones. He got stripped of 2 titles for being on drugs.
No. This makes 4 titles that he's never defended.
True, but
4
I'm
or
saying
5,
first, is he the first man in the UFC, first fighter in the UFC to be stripped of 2 titles for
Yes.
not fighting?
Of course. I mean,
Yeah.
he's
Right?
the first one
I
to hold
think
2
he is.
titles.
I mean, if somebody
at
want
the
to
same
fact check
time.
because I'd be listen because I like I said I do know that Randy was stripped of it. I think 2 titles before due to contract dispute. I'd have to double check. We do know John Jones has been stripped of 2 titles due to failed tests.
Jermaine Durand-May has been stripped of 1 title for not fighting.
Multiple people have been stripped for not fighting.
Dominic Cruz.
But I'm talking
Okay.
like I want to see
2
the
titles,
first time
2 different weight class
2 different
titles.
weight class titles for not fighting. It'd be really interesting to see.
Dustin Ortiz taking on Alexandre Pantoja. Then you got Abdul Razak Al Hassan taking on Sabah Hamasi. Kyle Buckniak taking on Brandon Davis, and that is Fox Sports 1. Then your main card, your pay-per-view, kick it off with Thomas Almeida up against Rob Font. Guillen Viante taking on Francimar Barroso. Calvin Kattar takes on Shane Burgos. And one of your 2 championship fights, Daniel DC Cormier defends his belt up against Volkan Short-Time Osmadir. And then you have Stipe Miocic taking on Francis Ngannou for the heavyweight belt.
It's a hell of a card, man.
Dude, the last 2 fights are a half ton of fights.
You're gonna get. I think that Volkan is going to get ragdolled a lot in this fight.
I really think so.
But he's going to.
You think he's going to let that happen? You think he's just going to let him ragdoll him?
Yes.
You think he's just
Yes,
going to let
I
him
do.
ragdoll him, Daniel?
I don't think he's going to let him. I think it's just going to happen.
But I think he's also going to touch Daniel a couple times.
Yeah.
And Daniel's not going to like that, so he's going to wrap him up a lot. Stipe Miocic and Francis
Always
Ngannou,
finds a way to win.
I don't know what to say with these 2.
Like I'm not saying I doubted Stipe his entire career, but there was times where I was like, oh man, I just don't know if he has.
But he's been
But
wobbled.
and the thing, he has been wobbled, but every single time he has shown me that he can take a heavy punch and keep.
But
moving
nobody's been hit by
and
this punch.
find a way to win.
I think that's why I think Stipe Miocic is going to have better boxing
Yes.
defense, and
Yes.
he's probably going to use his wrestling
Yes.
better against Francis Ngannou. Ngannou, remember, he's pretty new to this sport.
And that's my biggest thing.
He's very talented.
I think he's very talented, hits very hard. He's a little green.
Yeah.
For a title fight at this time.
Oh yeah, they work a year with this guy at the institute. Then I think this is a totally different fight.
Agreed.
But then again, I mean, Stipe's held the belt and defended it 3 more times before this guy gets to where he can actually compete with Stipe. And I could be wrong. He could go in there and knock the
Knock
shit
his
out of
block
Stipe,
off just
and,
like he did over
and
him.
that's where he's at.
Yep. Do you think it's a little strange that they announced Conor being stripped of his belt in Boston, a very Irish heavy
yes,
city?
I was thinking that earlier.
I didn't think they would do it just because of that.
I think they're probably hoping that the riots in Philly that are taking place on Sunday will overshadow the riots in Boston.
So you think they riot in Philly whether they win or lose?
Win or lose,
Yes.
that shit
That
is
town.
burning down. The only thing that's going to be different is if it's like positive flames or negative flames. That's it. Like, did your car get burnt because people were happy or sad? That's what you're going to tell your insurance company.
Head over to Shirtsicle, Shirtsicle/SD MMA and grab one of our great shirts. We have a lot of fans. We're having our fight night
Yeah.
and chill shirts. You can wear those during fight nights. And then
Fight Night and Chill is awesome. I'm a big fan of our
Pride
Pride
shirt,
design.
yeah.
It's my favorite one, but a Shirtsicle, you can check them out there. Big thanks to our sponsor as well, mymmanews.com. They do it 24/7. We do it once a week, so check them out. And also, of course, who we have now, Strongboard, back with us.
Strongboard.
Get on board, change the way you work out, strongboardbalance.com. And we'll have a Strongboard in here next week for one of us to stand on. Probably me, because I'm the shortest, apparently.
I think me and Dennis should stand on them on either side of you.
Can I just stand on a stool then? Check us out at SD_MMA on Twitter and Instagram, Split Decision MMA Podcast on Facebook, SplitDecisionMMA.com, and of course, follow us on iHeartRadio as well. That pretty much wraps it up for this week from the St. Cal studios. It is Bueller, Dodge, and Dennis saying have a good night. We'll see you at the fights.